What's up guys, my name is Logan Karl. Chris Burandt invited me out to BBA to experience a 3-day snowmobile adventure. In the very early stages of planning the trip, I talked to Ryan. Ryan made sure that everything was being coordinated correctly. I knew what equipment I needed to bring for the trip to go well, and he also made sure I had directions to get out to BBA. Going into the trip, I was super stoked because I've heard so many good things about BBA, but I was not sure what to expect myself. There's a lot of thoughts going through my head, like, is the snow going to be good enough for the clinic? Are the people going to be friendly? Things like that. And of course, once I got there, all of my expectations were surpassed by far. Once I rolled up to the BBA compound, there were signs directing me up the driveway, around the shop, and telling me exactly where to go to check in. And right when I got there, Chris Burandt was right at the door to greet me. After talking to Burandt for a few minutes, I felt super comfortable being there, and I knew that it was going to be an amazing few days out there. One thing that I found unique about the BBA experience already was that everyone there had the same mindset. They humbled themselves. We were all ready to learn how to snowmobile better. After meeting the guides and the rest of the crew, we were given directions 4 miles away to the lodge where we would be sleeping and eating a breakfast and dinner every single day. One thing people asked me when I got back is they asked me if the food was good. The food was so good. One meal every morning and then also a big meal for dinner in the evening, and that was every single day. After a good night's rest and a big breakfast, the crew and I made our way back over to BBA where we would have a riders meeting. During the riders meeting, Burandt went over a few main focuses for the next 3 days. Things like keeping your eyes up, wrong foot forward, stopping nose low. He showed us all this stuff in the shop, so when we got it on the snow, we all understood the main goal. The guides also talked about avalanche safety. It's super important out in this terrain to make sure everyone is educated on it. So Burandt and the crew gave us all lessons on what to do in case of an emergency and how to effectively use our gear. And don't worry, if you don't have your own avalanche gear when you come, they will make sure that you're equipped with everything you need. And of course, after the riders meeting, it was time to snowmobile. A really unique thing that they do at BBA is they split everyone up into 2 groups. The groups are decided on by the amount of riding experience instead of throwing everyone into one big group. There's 2 guys per group. Burandt takes out the group with a little bit more riding experience, where Ryan and Andrew take out the remainder of the group. Burandt does everything just a little bit faster with his group, whereas Ryan and Andrew do things just a little bit slower and focus more on drills to make sure you're super comfortable on that snowmobile. But don't worry, the groups are not far from each other, so you still get to ride near everybody. Once we got to the top of the mountain, got the sleds unloaded, geared up, the guides made sure that all of our avalanche gear and equipment was charged, ready to go, working properly, and then we did a beacon check. Day 1 on the snow was drills. This day was all about getting the fundamentals down and going way back to the basics of snowmobiling. So we shot off the trail right away, found a perfect hill, and we were practicing drills such as side hilling on the left-hand side, stopping nose low, and then continuing back on your side hill. We also did the same thing on the right side, side hilling on the right side, stopping nose low, and then continuing. After that drill, we went over and we did the circle drill. We found a little bit deeper snow, and we focused on going down the hill, turning, and then going back up the hill, and all the necessary footwork to make that possible. I personally was in Burandt's group, and our whole group kept saying, I hope there's good snow out there. The first night, it actually snowed 18 inches, and then both of the other nights that we were out there riding, it snowed again. And Burandt reassured us that to do drills, you don't need very much snow at all. At first we maybe didn't believe that, but when we got out there, we understood what he meant. We had so much snow, and it made the drills even harder to learn. So that's one thing you do not need to worry about going to BBA if there's going to be enough snow, because they are going to accommodate to you. During all these drills, the guides were very good about paying attention to make sure our eyes were up, our finger was on the brake, and to make sure our footwork was correct. After a long day of drills, we packed up, went down the mountain back to BBA, unloaded all the sleds, and then we went back over to the lodge for dinner. Dinner was so good because drill day, in my opinion, was the hardest day. They worked you super hard, so I was ready to eat food. At dinner, all the guides come and we talk about the whole day. We talk about things that we liked, things that was hard, and we really reflect on the day and figure out what we need to work on the next day. After another good night's rest at the lodge, it was time for day 2. Day 2 was now the day to take all the techniques that we learned from day 1 and put them into action in the backcountry. On day 2, we did take breaks every now and then when the guides noticed something that we needed to work on. So we would stop riding out in the free trees and we would find a hill and we would practice some drills again. Something unique about Buena Vista is their snow is extremely different there. The base is like sugar snow. I'm used to riding in rabbit ears in West Yellowstone, where Chris Burandt would call that cheater snow. So getting out into the Buena Vista snow was so different to me. I felt like it was my first time riding mountains again. It made it super necessary to use every technique they were teaching us to be able to maneuver through their snow. Day 2 is a super fun day because you get a mixture of drills and also riding freely out in the backcountry. But day 3 is the day to take everything you've learned and go out and push yourself in the backcountry. The guides took us into some amazing country where we were able to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and utilize all the techniques we've been learning the whole trip. BBA is not just a place for new riders to come to learn how to do it. It's also made for the super experienced riders that do it all the time, that are going to go in there and critique old habits that they have on the snowmobile. And on top of that, you get to ride in some snow that is so different than anywhere else in the country. Not only did I have a good time snowmobiling at BBA, but I also met really great people and established new relationships. There's no better way to meet like-minded people than to go to BBA for a riding clinic. Alright guys, if you've been thinking about going to BBA, this is your sign to go do that. Go get signed up.